In this video, we are going to talk about Tao or Bittensor, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of Tao to go in the next few days and weeks. So we'll look at the weekly chart, and what we can see right here is that Tao is currently sitting at $250 or so, just above, and Tao actually got a pretty significant recovery in the last couple of months. Tao went all the way down to about $150, basically to its all-time low, and it was looking quite bad honestly, but then it got a very significant recovery all the way up to $373. Since then it did continue dumping, but it is honestly looking a lot better than it did just a few months ago. There's potential right here for Tao to actually create a higher low right here. If Tao continues to go up from here, this could start a structure of higher lows, which would be a very positive sign. We do need to keep in mind this crucial resistance area at $300. This is a resistance area both psychologically because it is a round number 300, and also just on the chart we can see that Tao has reacted to the area of $300 many times in the past, both as support and more recently as resistance. So this would be the first very significant resistance area that Tao will need to attempt to break if it does continue going up, and if it does actually manage to break above it, then the next one would be this high, obviously at around $350. This was also a crucial resistance area earlier back in 2024, as you can see right here. So really these two areas of $300 and then $350, both round the numbers, both significant resistance areas on the chart as well. This will be the most important areas to look at. And in terms of support, the most crucial area is this one right here at around $215. This was support back in December of 2025, as well as a few times in the past. In general, as I've said in many videos before, I am not too optimistic about the altcoin market as a whole at the moment. I think that we are still very far away from having any sort of alt season, and for that to happen, we would first need to see Bitcoin and Ethereum doing a lot better, and most likely even getting into new all-time highs. Until that happens, I really don't think that the likelihood of an altcoin season is very high at all. Of course, there can be some exceptions, and some altcoins can do better than others, but as a whole, I'm not too optimistic about altcoins. Specifically with Tao, the structure of it is not looking too bad. I've definitely seen some altcoins with far worse structures, but still it's not too positive either. There are some very crucial resistance areas that should be pretty strong, as I showed you before, around $300 and around $350. Tao, for the most part, for a very long time now, has just been consolidating from about $200 to $500. Of course, there have been some exceptions, mostly with the altcoin season back in 2024. Back in late 2024, we had a mini altcoin season and a very euphoric period across the entire altcoin market. But right now, with how poorly the crypto market is doing, and with us most likely still being in a bear market, it doesn't seem very likely that Tao will cross $500 anytime soon. I'm not saying it's impossible for Tao to get a significant rally, but since all of the resistance areas are so close to each other, I would first want to see Tao closing a weekly candle above, at the very least, $320, and by the time that happens, we would have more resistance areas quite close to it. So really, I'm not seeing a great opportunity with Tao right here. Also in general, despite Bitcoin actually doing very well recently, with it going from about 60k to over 75k, I still think that we are most likely in a bear market, and that this is probably a counter trend rally, that Bitcoin will eventually in the next few months continue dumping and likely even head below 60k, or at the very least get somewhere close to it. And if that does happen, then most altcoins really don't stand a chance, and they will dump even a lot more than Bitcoin does. So in my opinion, the risk with Tao is still quite big, and the potential with it doesn't seem that amazing to me. Not the worst structure on a chart for an altcoin. As I've said, there are much worse altcoins, but really it's not looking that great in my opinion, and not something that I would get into. Of course, this isn't financial advice whatsoever. I would personally mostly avoid being heavy into altcoins. I would only stick to picking a few altcoins specifically and be very selective with them, and what I'm seeing with Tao isn't that convincing in my opinion. Again, if it does cross a weekly candle above $350, it could change the picture, but still we have a lot more resistance areas above that as well. We have a resistance area around 430, then another one around 480, 500, around that area. So really the conditions in the crypto market are not too favorable for altcoins in general, as I said, so I can't say that I'm too hopeful. Of course, anything could happen, and I will keep updating you guys and make more videos as things unfold, so make sure to subscribe to not miss that out. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.